people as well. So that will be later as we move through this. We do have, for those people who are involved with the church, if you want the sheet and the information for the budget, you can contact Allison on Sunday, and they'll be available for you at that time. So we're going to get started first with just some announcements, and these are important, so please listen to these. The 8 o'clock Sunday morning service that we've been having since June, we really have so few people left in that because of either vaccines or someone got the virus. So we are going to discontinue that. We are not going to have that this week. All right, there's only probably 1 or 2 people at this time that would potentially be here. So there will only be one service. It will be the 10 a.m. service. And so please encourage everyone to come to that. If you do not feel like it's the safest thing for you, then we still will keep our online service, but we just will not have the 8. All right, second thing is the retreat coming up. This is really critical that we sign up now. There's 2 cabins left. The cabins cost $330 for the weekend. Now, depending on how you want to break that up, if you want to stay all by yourself in a cabin, wouldn't recommend that, but you can do that if you want to. There's 2 left. There's 2 double beds in 2 different rooms, so there's 4 double beds in the building. So there's 8 people potentially per room that you could stay in there. You guys can do that how you want to, but that's just so you know. There's a few people who have purchased cabins that need a few extra roommates. Again, you would have to pay your share of that unless they say no, but just be aware of that. We don't charge anything for the retreat. We just want you to take care of that. You also will need to bring your own food, which like we always do this. So you cook in your cabin. The people in the cabin all take care of each other. If you're tent camping, the same kind of thing, you bring your own food. Saturday night, we will have 2 different ways of eating. Well, you eat the same, but there's 2 different ways. Everyone will eat with their hands and mouth probably. But what we will do is, typically we have a cookout where we cook hamburgers and things. We will still do that for the people who want that. But if you feel like I don't want to eat in that thing, you just bring your own food. So we'll have a Saturday night meeting, dinner beforehand, and then we will have after that a class that night. So in addition to that, we also need people for babysitting. There's in childcare. There's going to be 6 different times where we have meetings, and we'll need really at least 12, a minimum of 12 people to sign up for childcare. And that the times will be on Saturday night. On Friday night, we'll have a meeting. Probably we'll start around 6:30. And then we'll have a class that night, a talk. And then on Saturday morning, there will be a period from 9 to 12 where there will be 3 different talks, discussion periods, a lot of things going on. And then there will be a break for quite a few hours for us to play, do things together. There won't be childcare during the break. The children can play, do different things with parents or other kids. But those 3, there will be 3 periods that Saturday morning where we need help with the children. And then following that Saturday night and then Sunday morning. It will be a regular worship. This worship time will probably be around 10 a.m., depending on cabins and things, but we may move it as late as 11. We'll let you know that in more detail. If you are not coming up to the retreat, we urge you to come to at least to the Sunday morning service because it'll be great to be together, and we will not have a live feed from there. So it will be just, the service will be there that Sunday morning. It's worth the drive. It's a great time. It's not that far away. It's about an hour and a half at the very most, depending on where you're at. Encourage everyone to come up there. In addition to that, there's something else I'm supposed to say about the retreat. I'm forgetting what it is. It's not this, but the theme will be 3 days. We're talking about 3 days to change your life, to make some commitment, to get back on focus, make Christ your life. In all you do. So we really want to take that time to get away from the craziness of the world, focus on Jesus, growing together, and encouraging one another. So we really are looking forward to this retreat. Any questions about the retreat before I move on to something different? Sign up. If you're here tonight, sign up tonight. There's 2 more cabins. Guys, we will have to turn them back in really quickly. So if you're going to get a cabin, do that right away. Otherwise, we'll turn them in because we just don't want to have to pay for them if nobody's staying in them. All right, so I'm going to go through, I'm sorry, I have a couple more announcements. Sunday, this Sunday at 11:45, I'm going to meet with the parents of children who are in the womb to kindergarten. And we're going to meet and we're going to talk about the way we want to set up our, actually we'll talk a little bit about the retreat, but mostly about this upcoming year and how we're going to get going back again, meeting back together, some plans that we have for everybody, and we will need you parents to be here to make it great. We're going to ask all the parents that have children to be involved with this program. One thing about the babysitting I forgot to mention at the retreat and always here, you must have a background check, and we really encourage those of you who have had COVID or had the vaccine, that would be great if you could be babysitters for that group. Again, you play, have great time with them, but if you have had that before, that would be excellent. It's not absolutely necessary, but it'd be really nice if we had enough people that could do that. Okay? And then please continue to pray for Thomas Mathias. He still has a lot going on with his kidney cancer issues, and he really covets the prayers of the church. So really, please be praying for him. And we talked a little bit on Sunday morning, and he shared with some things happening. So pray for him for wisdom, and also God continue to work in his life in a great way. So any other announcements that I need to make, just in general, that people have that I need to bring up? Oh, Mitchell's announcement. Okay, so if you volunteered this past Wednesday, first of all, guys, it was a great job. So many people signed up for so many things and actually ran out of space in some of the rooms. That doesn't mean you still can't do it. Let's say you wanted to be in Ronald McDonald House. Then let Mitchell know that, because if we have enough people, we'll make 2 groups. We just wanted to make sure we had enough to fill certain roles. So if you signed up and says there's no room, talk to us. We want everybody involved. This is everyone's church, so we're going to try to keep that as much available as possible. The sign up, some of them open back up more spaces, so you can continue to look at that, and you'll see the ability to sign up for more things on that. But you should have gotten today a text, or actually an email. It's sent out from Mitchell, and it'll talk about the group that you volunteered for. There will be a head of each group, and they will be contacting you again, so you'll be hearing from them soon. But the plan is for everyone hopefully to have already received some notification that you signed up for whatever group it was, okay? So check your email, be aware of that. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want to go through the yearly calendar. Now, we were a little bit careful on planning out the calendar because we actually don't know how COVID things are going, so we didn't overload a lot of things. There's certain things we know that we're going to do. So this calendar is going to be passed out to you as we get started right here. And the first one actually ideally starts today, all right? Now, what we did last year, we found it was really helpful for us, just a time to grow, a time to get our hearts set, and then, again, COVID things happen. I think some of us probably lost our focus a little bit on this, but we counted 40 days out from the Sunday before, traditionally known as Palm Sunday, and we said, okay, let's take something in our life that we really want to change. Let's take some area where we really want to grow, something we want to get rid of, something we want to add, and let's pray about it every day for the next 40 days. And just let's really be serious about it. Let's put our hearts into prayer. Let's spend some time. This is a very biblical concept with 40 days of prayer. So really think about something. Ideally, if it starts today, but you can start it whatever day and just finish it 40 days later. We're trying to lead this up to a really exciting Easter celebration, and we're excited about that. And we know that every Sunday is an Easter celebration also, but it's just an opportunity for us to fast together, to pray together. This is something you can talk about your brothers and sisters. Say, hey, this is what I'm fasting for. This is what I'm praying for. And let's really make it spiritual, not just a physical thing, although if there's a discipline issue you need to deal with and pray, anything is fine. But let's really try to focus on becoming more like Jesus. So 40 days, fasting and prayer. Don't just say, I'll do that next year. This will be great going into the retreat with a mindset and a heart. I'm here to grow. I'm here to change. I'm here to become more like Jesus. Then we have March 5th through 7th, the retreat at Seminole State Park. And then on March 7th, I already talked about this, there will not be a service here on that Sunday. The service will be at Seminole State Park. On March 14th, we have Pi Day. So Pi Day, we started this church on March 14th, 17 years ago. So every year, we have a celebration close to March 14th. It just happens to be perfect this Sunday. And what we do is, since it's Pie Day, we have 17 different pies. So you'll be contacted by somebody. If you know, we'll have 17 pies made. You may be contacted by somebody to help contribute to the pies. All right. Again, you don't have to eat any of the pies, but they're actually pretty good. So Pie Day. I know we just talked about fasting and prayer. You don't have to fast from pies. You can fast for something, or you know whatever. But I'm just trying fasting. If you fasted from everything for 40 days. That would be a pretty spiritual thing, I guess, but we're not asking you to do that. Just pick something out that you're going to take out of your life. Maybe it's some social media time or something that you think is taking you away from Jesus. So the Pie Day is a celebration for the church, the anniversary, the 17 years that we've started, which is pretty amazing to see what God has done through the church from the small group of us that were there in the beginning. And I thank all of you who were there in the beginning for your heart, for your conviction, for your being part of this ministry and seeing it grow. Then we just write in the spring break thing to remind people when that's at, just for scheduling purposes and things like that. This spring break is a little bit different. There's no FSU spring break, and the spring break in Leon County, a lot of people won't be going anywhere, so we're not really changing our schedule that much for this, but just be aware of that. Then we have our Easter service. Right now, it will probably the same way we've had it in here. We'll let you know if we're going to change anything different. Sometimes we've done some different things through the years, but this year we'll probably here on Sunday morning, our traditional time. We'll have a brunch beforehand like we do, so we can encourage people to come in before the service. We'll have some yogurt and things like that, so people can do that to really hopefully get people. This is an opportunity really for us to realize that people go to church on Easter. It's an incredible way for us to invite people to church. Lots of people go just, and then we can have them come in here and feel the love of Christ and hopefully make an impact on people's life. We are going to go back to our all-night prayer devotional. We did not have it last year with COVID, but we will have it this year. That will be April 9th. That will be a Friday. We'll come in here Friday evening, and we will pray through the night. It's actually incredibly fun. You don't have to stay the whole time, but it actually is really a lot of fun. We do all kinds of things to make it enjoyable. We have a lot of games and things. We get a little break every now and then to keep our brains sharp, fellowshipping and music and different things like that. So I encourage you all to, on April 9th, set that aside. It'll be Friday night till Saturday morning. And then the campus is going to lead the service on April 11th. So that'll be exciting. The campus has grown a lot. We've seen a lot of people maturing and look forward to a really neat service. Let's really be there and support them, be praying for them. Our next event is everybody's event in the country. It's a national holiday. It's Mother's Day. And we'll have a special day for them this year as well, as we always have in the past. Then, ladies, we have had to reschedule because of COVID. This Ladies' Day that was scheduled last year, it's going to hopefully be May 22nd. No. We are going to reschedule that again. All right. So, Lindsay's and Chris's wedding is that day. So we will not be having the Ladies' Day. So ladies, pray about this day. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen soon. So, and then Father's Day is coming after the Ladies' Day in this schedule, and that will be June 20th. We are going to plan a Men's Day, hopefully in June. We're looking at a couple places, so we'll let you know when that would be available and what we'll do. July 4th, there will be a cookout, typically as we always do, and we'll let you know the location depending on what's happening in the fireworks world at that time. September 12th is our kickoff classic. This is when we have a tailgate party. We have everything set up inside, and we'll have a great time. The campus people, we'll be inviting a bunch of those to come out. We will not have the video at that time. It will be just a great time together and a time of being able to fellowship and have a meal together. Then the fall, one of the plans that we do want to add, we're working on, and this also is we've done this before in the past, a fall barbecue and dance. And I think that will be an incredible time. We're just trying to get sports schedules, people's schedules, and find a location where we could be able to pull that off. Then the rest is our traditional things later in the year. November 17th, we'll have our Thanksgiving where we share about the way God has blessed us. November 24th will be no service, Christmas banquet, right on the calendar. Wednesday night, December 22nd, we will not have a service. We're going to have a Christmas Eve candlelight service on December 24th, which I believe is a Friday. And so that will be a great time to be able to do that as well. So that is an overview of the calendar. I know there's not a lot of things. We will probably be adding a lot depending on what happens in the COVID world and how people are doing and how many people are vaccinated, but we're going to add some more things as we go through there. Any questions about the calendar? Everybody with me on that? All right, so what I want to do is we're going to go over a few things. I'm going to share a couple more things, and then we're going to go on from there. And Kevin's going to share things about children's safety. Important to our church. We want our children to love it, but we want them also to be very safe. And so he's going to share some of those things and steps that we are really important to us. And then after that, then Allison will come and again share about the finances. And if you weren't on earlier, we will turn the video off, or the live feed off after Kevin is done, and Allison will share with us. She's really unhappy because she really wanted all the world to be able to hear her talk tonight. She was just hoping that we would try to expand the audience, maybe on a national level, but we're not going to do that tonight. Okay, so I want to talk to you about AED. Can you play my AED thing? Angela is not here tonight. I know that this is a little bit repetitive, but I can tell you from being in the sports world, it's good to review this regularly. We have an AED machine right over by the video area, and you guys all need to know how to use it. You could be here and the only person here with one other person. You need to know how to do it. It's really, really simple. Don't be intimidated. This is a 2-minute video that I'm putting on here instead of having Angela do it. So if you want to pay attention, go ahead and turn this thing on.
This is a typical automated external defibrillator, and if we had one of these available to us, we would apply it to the patient's chest very early on in the scenario. Having called the emergency services, because we've identified that our patient is not breathing, if this was immediately available to us, we would apply it to the patient's chest. Having called the emergency services, if this was not immediately available to us, we would commence CPR, and when the defibrillator arrived, we would then apply it to the patient's bare chest. So I'm just going to show you how to run through the application. And is in a state of cardiac arrest. My colleague has gone to call the emergency services. I have the defibrillator available to me, so I will apply it straight away before starting chest compressions. Remove the packet from the bracket in the lid. The defib will then start talking to me.
Tear open package and remove pad. Peel one pad from plastic liner. Place one pad on bare upper chest. Peel second pad and place on bare lower chest as shown. Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm. Do not touch patient. Analyzing rhythm. Shock advised. Charging. Stand clear.
So everybody's clear of the patient.
Push flashing button to dip shock delivered. It is now safe to touch the patient. Give 30 compressions. Then give 2 breaths. Start CPR.
So that's the 30 compressions delivered. What we need to be aware of is the position of the pads. One goes on the right side of the upper chest, just below the collarbone. One goes in the mid-axilla, that's your armpit, and on the lower third of the rib cage. Some patients will be hairy, sweaty, they may be wearing jewellery. If that's the case, we need to shave the hair before the application of the pads. We need to dry the chest before the application of the pads. We need to remove any jewellery before the application of the pads, so the pads stick to good, dry, hair-free skin on the patient's bare chest.
out that door is great. But the rest of us are going to go out this door, and if you're over on this side, you go out that door. So you just split, okay? But get out of the building. If you walk out this door, it just goes right around the building, all right? And then we'll all meet in the parking lot. And that way everyone knows we're all together. The ushers will be the last ones to leave. They'll make sure there's no one in the bathroom, no one in the different areas. But that's the plan. Don't do something different because we don't know, and we can't be accountable for people if they go do something different. So the fire alarm goes off. We're not going to practice it right now, but the kids would go out. The people over here in that section will go out. Some of the front would go out. The rest would go out this door. Unless you're in the far back, then you would go out that door. Everybody got me? So you get to the closest exit quickly. You know, don't go back in the other way. The ushers will be checking people to make sure that there's no one in the bathrooms. That's their job. They'll do it, okay? So that's the other thing. So Kevin's going to come up and speak. Is there any other safety issues that you want? Let's say something really crazy goes on. Listen to the ushers, okay? We'll have security people, we'll have ushers. They will talk to us if something needs to happen, all right? But other than that, you need to know the fire alarm and what's going on with that. And if you ever feel like something isn't right, something's not safe, or a person's not safe, talk to the ushers, let us know, and we will deal with that, okay? Any questions about that? All right, so Kevin, if you want to come up and speak a little bit about children's safety, then after that, Allison will speak about our finances, what's going on with all that. All right?
All right. So, how many people in here actually are involved with children's ministry in any way here? Okay. So, not a lot of us. We can have people online raise their hands as well. Just a couple important things. It goes beyond just the children's ministry for us. And as you know, we spend a lot of time talking about safety, talking about security, talking about ways to keep people safe in gatherings, whether they're here, whether they're anyone else. If it's a church-sanctioned event, meaning it's on our calendar, it's approved, it's announced in church, it's sanctioned by the church, supervision is first and foremost on our mind. And it should be yours if you're hosting people at your house anyway. So some of this applies, and it's just common sense. It could really be summed up in one simple phrase. If you find yourself alone with somebody else's kid, you've done something wrong. You know, you need to recalculate what you're doing right there. There are times where you're going to need to supervise a friend's kid or do that. But by and large, if you find yourself on a church event with somebody's kid who's not yours, get another adult quickly. Get out of that situation. We take the two-parent rule or the two-adult rule pretty serious. As always, there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be different things like that. But we deal with those when they're applicable, when they're needed. The teachers get a lot of training on this, so we're not going to go in a lot of detail. We want to talk about really what goes on for all of us here. Really, the first line of defense, too, is parents. So parents, with your children, you're responsible. And you're responsible until they turn 18, at least in the eyes of the law. So one of the things that we rely on is we want to have a loving, open church. We want everyone to feel included and happy and carefree and talkative and together. But at the same time, it's not a place to just come and dump your kids and not pay attention to them and hope somebody else keeps an eye on them. Their safety, obviously, my kids are my responsibility. Your kids are your responsibility. But as a body, we are responsible for everyone else. But our primary responsibility is for you as the parent to keep tabs on your kid, to know where they are, to know what they're up to. You really are the first line of defense. That being said, we are not a church of secrets when it comes to anything, but especially when it comes to our children. If there is a suspicion of anything, if there is any concern, if there is any reason, if there's the hair standing up on the back of your neck, your spidey sense ringing, say something. Find somebody else. Don't let this be one of those things that you just kind of sweep under the rug and feel about it. Talk to Chris, talk to me, talk to Allison, talk to somebody on the board of directors. But this is not something we want to let go on. We want to make sure we have a church of openness, of transparency, that kids can be safe, that adults are safe, that everybody can come here and feel like this is the refuge that God intended it to be. A couple other just minor things, too, as we get back into the hanging out with people. Man, I thought like the fire alarm or something was going off. is the two-parent rule applies to driving. So if you are, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff hopefully this summer with college and teens together, and hopefully we're going to be spending a lot of time out in creation. If you're driving other people's kids, be aware of it's always a good idea to have a couple adults in the car. We shouldn't be giving kids a ride home that we aren't familiar with. Just be aware that 2-adult rule really applies to any mode of transportation, anytime we're on a physical property, anytime we're at a retreat. The other thing, too, that's becoming more and more of an issue as we become more connected is you probably shouldn't be engaged in electronic communication with somebody that's not your kid, especially without the knowledge of their parent. So we stress this to our employees, we stress this to our teen ministers, we stress this to everybody is you always want to be above board. You always want to have another adult know what you're up to, especially when it comes to dealing with our kids. It's just a great measure of accountability, and it's a great way we can show that we're safe to the people that visit, to the people that are here, to guests, to anybody that comes in contact with us. Any questions? Those are kind of just the highlights for this year. Anything I missed that you think is important? Chris? Yeah, so we do have all of our properties. So, we have this facility here, and we have our 2 new buildings over there. One of the buildings over there is obviously rented. We have no functions or anything going on in there. We have expanded our camera and security capabilities to all of our properties now. So that building is monitored and recorded and all the other good stuff, just like it is here. If you look up, you'll see some of our cameras that are pretty easy to identify. Some of our cameras are not, but pretty much anytime you're on our property, you're on camera. And it can be audio, it can be video, it can be any combination of the two. But we do take it pretty serious. There's plans to expand it a little bit over the next year, just to make sure that we have a comprehensive view of everything. So smile, you're on camera, just be aware of it. And I think that's about it. Yeah, all right. Good.
So have we turned off online? Okay, so online, we love y'all. We're going to turn this off now. This is just going to be for the body here. If you are part of the body and you want this information, remember, it will be available Sunday on paper form. And if you have questions, talk to Allison about that. All right, so goodbye to you online. And we're going to pass out this paper that's got the budget on it for 2020 and how that worked. And in 2021, what our plans are, which you'll see are a little bit up in the air over a couple issues that we